remember, I can't remember, was it a movie or was it a comedy special? And the person was making this comment about some crazy stuff that somebody said, and they said, that must be some good shit you're on. Well, they must have some seriously great weed over at Fox Business. Because Maria Bartiromo, you know, long before she was at CNBC, she was one half of the Money Honeys. Don't ask me why. I've seen her in person. So anyway, she literally said this on Fox News. Because you got to remember, she is a massive, I mean, her supply of chapstick to kiss Trump's ass costs her a lot of money per month, okay? Listen to this.
People are frustrated with housing and the price of homes. People are frustrated with certain food items. But there are a number of things that President Trump has already been incredibly successful doing. So when he says this affordability issue is a hoax, he's right. He's basically talking about how the Democrats have taken this word affordability and used it as their calling card for the 2026 elections. They think that these Democrat wins that we just saw in Miami, in New York City, in other places like New Jersey, we shouldn't be surprised that the Democrats won those races. These are all blue states and cities, so it's no surprise there. What is a surprise is that after all of these years, the Republicans keep getting rolled over by the Democrats' messaging. I got to tell you, I don't think that people really feel as bad as the Democrats are talking about. The economy is doing well. There's $18 trillion of new investment that have come into this country.
For more delusion, here is Trump's top economic person, Kevin Hassett, talking to, his daughter-in-law, like you're going to get some real information, talking to that idiot.
Well, if you had a crystal ball and you looked to the very end of President Trump's second term in office, where would you expect to see this economy?
I think that we're already right on the cusp of having the greatest economy that the U.S. has ever seen. I think that Trump policies are about as good as it gets.
Tina Peters.
Really? New polls show 31% of voters approve of Trump's handling of the economy. His worst economic rating yet. Families are struggling with affordability. Again, still the orange one is bragging about how amazing the stock market is and promising to, quote, make America affordable again. He continues to dismiss the concerns of high prices as a hoax cooked up by Democrats. Okay, so here's the thing that I find to be hilarious here. He announces affordability as a hoax. Wasn't he running on affordability last year? Oh, so affordability was real last year, but it's a hoax now. Like I said, that must be some good shit they're smoking. Morgan Harper is the Director of Policy and Advocacy for the American Economic Liberties Project. She joins me now. Morgan, glad to see you. These people literally are high. I mean, this idea that, no, the rest of you, you're totally wrong, you're crazy, and you're looking at Bartiromo going, yeah, it ain't no problem for you, because you damn near making $20 million a year.
Right. Yeah, I mean, this disconnect between what real people are experiencing, which the polling data would reflect, and they're saying, the American people are speaking pretty clearly, and they have been for some time, that all is not well in the economy. And what pundits who have been very closely tied to the administration and, to your point, his family members are saying are neither here nor there. These are totally different existences. And I think, continuing to point to the stock market, as we've talked about, Roland, kind of neglects the fact that a lot of people are not playing in the stock market. And if they are active on the stock market, it's through in a passive way in mutual funds. And they are still living with the reality that being involved in the stock market even a little bit is not enough to guarantee you any kind of financial stability. Most people in America recognize, to the conversation you were having before, that you are one illness away from having financial devastation, and there's nothing that Fox News or Donald Trump can say to wish that away. And that's what a lot of American people are looking for, is real solutions. But we're dealing with a crony federal government right now that is just about rewarding friends and not solving real problems. And the economic problems are mounting.
Oh, yeah. So here is Bryson DeChambeau, same thing, who got paid millions of dollars to leave the PGA Tour for Live Golf. So he's at the White House, and he's just, hey, guess what? Let me just kiss more Trump ass. Listen.
Current U.S. Open champion. Please.
My goodness. Well, I did not know I was going to be coming up here today, but I got to say thank you. And what the president done in this term has been incredible, right? It's the greatest economy that we've ever had. And just to be serving on the President's Council of Sports, Fitness, and Nutrition has been such an honor. And the First Lady looks so beautiful, by the way. And I'll say cheers to the greatest economy that we've had in a long, long time.
Yeah, more bullshit.
If a golfer says it, it must be true about the economy.
Well, when Live Golf gives you a $125 million check to come play, yeah, I think things are great in your life, Bryson.
Yeah, I mean, in the beauty of the First Lady, I have no idea what that has to do as an economic indicator. But here's what the reality is. And this, again, is showing up in all the data. Take any facet of American life.
Data that we can actually check, because they stopped releasing the data. They don't want to release jobs numbers because they know it's bad.
Right.
I mean, it's all kinds of stuff they're canceling because they know it sucks.
Right. But even the things that are available, like utility prices, for example, I mean, these are continuing to go up. People are now reporting that they have utility bills, even if we're just talking about electricity, that are getting into the hundreds of dollars a month to heat a household. Add on to that gas, same dynamic, completely out of control markets that are at the whim of Wall Street. And the American people, again, are saying very clearly, we can't keep up with this. And so to see this disconnect with what's going on in the administration and just how much people are struggling, it's a pretty scary time.
3-time Trump voter here on CNN. Watch this.
My kids' daycare went up. Can't afford the cost of food. Using credit cards for everyday expenses. No money left after their bills are paid. Pretty much just a whole bunch of financial mess.
We changed presidents at the beginning of the year.
We did.
And the guy who moved into the White House said that he was going to fix it. Several times he said it would be easy.
Absolutely.
Has he fixed it?
Absolutely not. I'm definitely waiting for him to fix it.
Jones is a 3-time Trump voter, but she says he has simply failed to keep his promise to lower the cost of living.
I'm very let down by that. Very, very let down, because I feel like it's only gotten worse.
No, you fell for the okie doke. Again, so many of these people, this woman, farmers and others, they believed his lies, and now they're stuck. Now they're having to live with it, and we're sitting here going, we tried to tell you.
Yeah, I mean, I think it is devastating to hear people, even if they voted for Trump, to have to go through this struggle of getting through daily life. So I don't want to diminish that at all, but it is the reality that a lot of this was predictable. President Trump has put out a lot of talk, but you cannot staff. Let's just look at the basics of how he has managed this administration. You cannot staff your administration with people who have no background in these issue areas and expect that any useful policy is going to come out of that. And to our earlier point, I mean, we have some really complicated problems that we need to solve in this country. Let's look at healthcare, for example. Beyond just the subsidies of the ACA, we have a market that has been totally captured by large healthcare conglomerates, and we have no vision on the table from this administration as to what to do about it. Should more people be in Medicare, for example? Right. That is not an easy thing to pull off. That requires people to have a background in understanding the healthcare industry. Yeah. To be able to then implement a better solution.
Then again, when you also have the richest cabinet in history, they don't really give a damn. I do have to ask you this, because this is the one that drives me crazy before we go to our panel with questions for you. So she said here, oh, my God, it's amazing. So she threw out, we got $19 trillion in new investment. I saw some talking head on some clip on CNN. I saw it on social media going, $22 trillion in new investment. Okay, here's why that's insane. Go to my iPad, Henry. The United States, I just want y'all to understand, when we're talking GDP, okay, we're talking GDP. Give me, okay, look right here. These are the top, let me squeeze it in here. These are the top 15 countries by GDP. The United States is a $30 trillion economy. China is a $19 trillion economy. Those two are the only ones that with those digits. Germany, 5, Japan, 4, India, 4, United Kingdom, 3, France. Trump touts the trillions that Saudi Arabia is going to be investing. Y'all, the GDP of Saudi Arabia is only $1.27 trillion. They're lying, Morgan. There's not $18 trillion in new investment. $18 trillion in new investment would qualify as the third largest economy in the world. That's nuts.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of this is made up. Even the investment that's happening, I think we're seeing it for things like a new data center or whatever. You take that overall amount.
They just making shit up. They're
making shit up.
Because they're like, oh, 6, 8, no, it's 10, no, it's 12, no, it's 14, no, it's 18, no, it's actually 20.
Right. Well, and then again, the data that we do have is showing on the core promises that the president made about bringing manufacturing jobs back. Manufacturing jobs are down from this point a year ago by the tune of like 50,000, and our trade deficit is increasing. So we are continuing to import more than we're exporting. This is not a revival of an American economy that is rooted in building things or employing people. It is a game that we are being bought and sold to the highest bidder that gets in Trump's ear.
Questions from the panel. Teresa, what's your question for Morgan?
Hey, Morgan.
Hi.
Thank you so much for that high-level overview. You know, as we just kind of went back and saw that clip of the reality versus the economic polls, how do people learn to actually trust what they're seeing and also face the reality of what they're dealing with, especially in Trump's economy?
Yeah, I mean, I think this gets to something you all were talking about earlier, is we have to have spokespeople out there that are calling out the BS, identifying the lie, but not stopping there, also talking about a better path, a different solution. So let's come back to healthcare, for example, which I touched on earlier. You know, yes, the ACA subsidies, we need to protect those. But when we have people that are saying like, oh, we're just going to start accounts for people, like we've heard from some of the Republicans, we're going to start these healthcare accounts and everything will be okay. We need to be like, no, but here's what would be better. Why don't we let more people get into Medicare so that we have predictable pricing? That's a substantive idea. Why are we not banning prior authorization that then slows down the delivery of healthcare? These are all concrete solutions that would allow people who do have an interest in government looking out for people, lowering costs, having something that people can really understand as a better alternative rather than getting lost in all of the misinformation and lies that are coming out of the White House.
Right. So Trump threw out $21 trillion in new investment. This is CBS right here. The White House put a list together. It includes more than 100 corporate commitments totaling just over $3 trillion. Yes, some of the largest were originally unveiled years before Trump took office and were backed by federal funding under President Biden's administration. They're full of shit. Mekongo, your question.
Thank you, Morgan, for all you do to keep us informed. My question ties to this segment as well as the last one when we were talking about healthcare. What are you seeing as it relates to the potential red state, blue state outcomes to what's happening? Because you talk to Scott Besson, he'll say, hey, just move to a red state. The economy is doing much better there. But we also know that blue states are the ones that fund red states. Are blue state governors going to be reacting to this better, or are both red and blue states just going to be screwed? How are you seeing that dynamic playing out?
Well, that is another example of complete BS. I can report from the heartland, living in Ohio, a red state at this point, that people are not faring better economically. I've heard nothing but small business owners complain about how tariffs are impacting their businesses, people complaining again about these electricity prices that continue to go up. And let's stick with that as an electricity prices as an example. These utility dynamics of we have utility monopolies that are very much beholden to Wall Street, and they are using financial manipulation to drive up these costs. That's everywhere. That's every state in the United States of America. So I think it is incumbent upon us to, again, identify the lie, but then also understand what's going on that is driving up some of the costs for constituents in red states, in blue states. And we're going to find it's actually not that different. The difference is that we are, in some states, fortunate to have people at the top of these state governments that are looking to actually solve problems. And we do need to make sure that they have full information about how they can actually deliver the solutions that are going to help people and make sure that they understand how to make better electoral decisions. But it's not the case that, people on the ground in red and blue states are having wildly different experiences. It's actually quite similar. I think the data center thing, another good example. Ohio, big state with a lot of data centers. I was just reading today, another state with a ton of data centers that are trying to figure out how to manage that all. Maryland, blue state, totally different political dynamics, same experience on the ground that people are having these higher electricity prices.
Raven?
Yeah, Morgan, thank you so much for your time and expertise this evening. I really want to pick up the conversation around the big, beautiful bill, so-called big, beautiful bill, and unpack a recent statement that was made by Trump's Treasury Secretary that essentially Americans are going to get a, quote, very large refund of about $1,000 to $2,000 in the new year as a result of the big, beautiful bill. Obviously, we know that's nonsense.
That's bullshit.
Yeah, it's bullshit. This bill is created by the rich for the rich. But can you break that down a little bit for us, for folks who may see that number amount and think, oh, this bill is actually working for me?
Yeah.
Well, first of all, it's the first thing.
Sorry.
That has to be a congressional action. Trump just can't just hand out money. The Constitution clearly states anything that deals with revenue has to start in the U.S. House.
Sure, although we are in an environment where Trump is just kind of
right, like whatever.
So he could get some private donor and then start sending people out checks. I don't think we have any idea what exactly that might look like or what these people might do as they enter this period of desperation where they know that the economy is not doing well and they're going to try to distract people from that reality. So that I will just get out there. And again, I mean, it's, not to continue to beat a dead horse here, but I do think it's important to call this stuff out. This is not a real conversation. Yeah, it's all made up. These are lies. And this is no way to run an economy if we are trying to make sure that people are actually building stable lives here. And so Big Beautiful Bill was a complete giveaway to the rich, large corporations. When we're talking about investment that's coming in from other countries and we're talking about Saudi investment funds, I mean, look at this Netflix deal. This is another one where they're probably going to tout the fact that the Saudis or actually it's the Paramount side of it, that the Saudis are funding the Paramount offer that's coming from Jared Kushner to be able to give us the great pleasure of further consolidating our media industry. Is that going to be part of the tally of how much great investments coming into the U.S.? So none of this stuff is serious about actually improving people's lives. We have to continue to identify that. And yeah, I mean, I personally think it's possible that they might just do something random to try to get people money. Like you saw, Secretary Duffy is now announcing he's giving bonuses to Amtrak workers. This is all signs of desperation because they know that none of this is real and they're just hoping that they can skip by long enough so that the American people don't notice.
I'm sure he'll be handing out the fake checks that Noam did to the TSA workers when she tried that same crap a few weeks ago. Mm-hmm. That's who they are.
This is your chance to own a piece of the creator economy. And with Start Engine, investing in Fanbase couldn't be easier. Just visit startengine.com/fanbase and click Get Equity. Opportunities like this don't stay open long, but your investment can help build a platform that pushes the future of social media forward.